Rohingya Girl. She was playing with her brothers and sisters. School had ended for the day. Now some free time before helping her mother in the tall fields of maize that grew at the village edge. The crop was good. The rains had been kind. Now the sun shone from heaven to ripen the grain. The noise was faint at first, like a distant rumble that precedes a thunderstorm. As the sound grew, so the pitch became a little higher, until she could recognize the sounds. The higher pitch of the motorcycle, the low throbbing notes of the trucks. As they came into sight, she knew the soldiers had arrived. They had been there before, bullying, stealing cattle, taking grain, shouting insults to the villagers. She used to hide with the other children, running away to the trees. This time it was different. They came brandishing their torches of fire, dragging people from the burning huts, shouting at them as they struggled and screamed. She watched in terror as they tried to escape the flames. The voice of an old woman whispered in her ear, "Run, child, run to the woods." Terrified, the child stood still, unable to move, as the soldiers dragged her mother from the hut, watched as her father tried to resist, heard the gun fire a shot, watched him fall and the blood pour from his head. Her mother's dress was torn from her body, held in her nakedness by one soldier while another raped her, then another and another. The old woman took her arm, helping her stumble to the trees as the burning and pillage continued, with the screams interrupted only by bursts of gunfire. Then the sound of the trucks, as the soldiers left, leaving no sign of life, except for a small dog checking the ashes for a lost master. They left the village before the reporter came to take photographs, but nobody told the story of the terror, the hurt, the shame. Behind a polished mahogany desk, the suited lady said, "We should not interfere, or risk losing those contracts for oil. A world of everybody knows and nobody cares. Is that what we really want?" The child trekked with the others through the forest, crossing streams and rivers, shoes gone and clothes torn, living off any berries they might find, drinking the dirty water, even though some got diarrhea. An army of orphaned, lost children, seeking safety and rest. Sometimes they would hear gunfire, see clouds of smoke arising. Then they would hide in the trees again. Safety, they believed, was across the water, another country where they would be welcomed and fed, where they would sleep with a roof overhead. Boats were few, they were old and overcrowded. Some demanded money before they would cross. She scrambled and struggled to get aboard, a hand stretched out to pull her over the planks. Some, less fortunate, drowned, their bodies washed away by the currents, to become only carrion for scavenging vultures. Before the boat reached the shore, they jumped, feet landing in soft sand, the boat turning to collect more. She felt alone, but safe. A few tents had been pitched amongst the hillocks. Some were building shelters of driftwood and discarded polythene, collected from the banks of the river she had crossed. There were no toilets, but someone had dug a trench for a latrine. When it rained, water poured through the roof. Mud seeped in on earth-covered floors. There was little water and even less food. She cried. There was no welcome here. She was in the village of everybody knows and nobody cares. Is that really what we want? The charities did arrive with too little aid. Government forces did their best. But as each day went by, so many more arrived. But nobody left. They had no place to go. The vision and hope is that the child might be found, rescued from a world where she does not belong, to enjoy the life that others share, living in a home of love, compassion, and care. A vision that someday countries will dispense with the rules designed to prevent these children from having a life, that these poor orphans can be offered a life in our homes, their past to be slowly lost and replaced by hope, their future not strangled by government tape. They will live in a world where everybody knows and everybody cares. That is what I really want.